What's going on, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We truly are a worldwide community, and wherever you are in the world, so happy to be here together. I'm really happy this morning. What a beautiful greeting from everyone, and everyone greeting everyone, and just the general vibe that we all bring here. I mean, truly outstanding. Setting it off over here, Miles shared this with us, this meme. I lead from the heart, not from the head, Princess Diana. I feel the same. I try to lead from the heart. I try my best to lead from the heart. And I think that we are full of heart over here in CTM. Not only that, on the right side of the trade, not only on the right side of the most important trade that matters, but across all markets. The truth is we work the hardest, and the truth is nobody comes close to doing it better. That is arrogance. That is lack of humility. That is confidence. Confidence comes with a reason. What are we looking at today, fam? We got a lot to cover, a lot to talk about. I was playing tennis with my little brother yesterday, and he was talking about because of the conditions, the wind conditions, how I was playing, and he was wondering if I thought that through. But I'm reactive. When I play chess, I'm reactive. I'm not thinking moves in advance, maybe subconsciously, but I'm reactive. I think that's just an important quality to point out, and you have to figure out how you view things as well. You know, whether or not it's talking about leadership of this community. We were talking about every once in a while that New Yorker has to come out when people, they call them trolls. When people start making noise and want to be heard because they lack attention, things like that. Every once in a while, it's not where my heart is, but I have to make an example just to let it be known to everyone else. That type of behavior is not okay. It's not welcomed here. That's not what we want. Actually, look at this. This is I wanted to share. Hold on one second. Can I find it? Can I get it up? Do we have it? Let me see what that looks like over there. I saw this yesterday. Be nice or leave. be nice or leave. And that's just the way it is. I don't like to make an example of someone that's out there trolling. I do it to help shape this community that we have. I see it paying off this morning when I see everyone over here and just the like-minded individuals that we bring into this echo chamber. I'm really okay with confirmation bias and echo chambers because I believe that I have the critical thinking to be able to start from first principles and know whether or not I want to have this view or not, or when it changes. I know there are people who fear it out there. They fear being able to be having the ability to think for themselves. That's okay. One red pill at a time. It leads to the giant orange pill. We're looking at Bitcoin today as a volatile last 12 hours. Sleep a little, but we have a new baby in the house. We got a bunch of little kids. Sometimes we sleep, sometimes we eat, sometimes we sleep and we think we're normal. But, at 3 o'clock in the morning, more or less, I saw Bitcoin up about 3%. And then a few hours later, it was back to unchanged, now up 2%. It's jumpy, but that's, just everyone's so focused on like what's happening over the next hour or day or 3 days. Like, you have to look at this. Look at this. Here you go. Let me help you out. Here you got this resistance up top. If price breaks above it, it looks like, you know what? This trend line, the most important trend line in crypto, it's actually starting to come down and come down. And it's a lot closer than everyone thinks now. It's a lot closer than everyone thinks as we enter July. And it's possible that relatively soon we challenge that resistance. Now, whether or not we break it or not, or how soon we break it or not, that's another thing, and I don't know. And we can just as easily, by the way, break down to the line of hope, breaking the line of hope, which is barely holding over here. We're coming to the apex. It's going to break one way or the other. We don't know which way it's going to break. If it breaks down, we could be under some pressure, at least a little bit of pressure. Let's put it that way. Let's see how this all plays out. Things remain unclear. A break of this triangle will be a lot clearer. I was talking about in the title of this video that July, I don't even know what the title of it, oh yeah, average 75% gain in the 2013, 2017 bull market phases of Bitcoin. We're entering July again, but let's take a look at it. It's not only interesting to see the volatility that begins to take place in July, but what happens after it, or what has happened after it, I should say, because just because it happened in the previous two cycles, that July happened to be a pretty decent month, August better in both, right? And then September in both happened to be like, a little bit unchanged, a little bit red, a little bit, but October is explosive in both Are we looking at something similar transpiring? I mean, I don't know, and I don't know why not. Like, why wouldn't something similar play out as we come, mid-cycle, getting into to the fall, to things really get crazy? Do you remember I've always said in the third quarter 2021, Bitcoin's really going to break all correlations? Well, it's coming, and could that possibly go into the fourth quarter? Yeah, we're going to follow price. We don't know where it peaks ahead of time. We have lots of situational awareness points to help us out along the way, but ultimately we're following price. So we'll see what happens. There's something I added to the worksheet over here this morning. And when we talked about the current repair in place, because this could change, right? It was on the 29th of June that we went and marked up the first repair taking place. Let's zoom in over to there into the real time and see what that was like over here. What do we have it on? The 29th, right? When we broke this trend line, this highlighted trend line that my mouse is coming down. I'm on the log scale. Let me get off the log. There we go, linear. And you can see when we broke that trend line over there, that was the first opportunity for a repair. We had the breakout, right? A retest, resumed off, and then came back down and actually tested that trend line again. And so far it's held. That could fail, right? The lowest low so far is around here, 28,300, 28,300. Price could fail and take out that low for sure. This dotted line, by the way, we didn't take that repair. Could you have taken that repair? We'll look at that in 1 second. I want to just jump back over here to, this other view where we look at it. If you remember what happened on June 13th when we broke above that caution line over here of the most important trend line in crypto that had been holding for about 4 or 5 weeks. I said, listen, stand aside. Like, things are very unclear still. That wound up actually not holding, right? Over here, we talk about, listen, you could take breakouts on Bitcoin during the bull market phase, but we don't have momentum right now. And we were very clear that above the most important trend line in crypto, that's when momentum returns. That's when the wind is at your back. And that might be a more appropriate place to be looking to take breakouts. Nevertheless, this is the first actual time that we were like, you know what, a repair's in place. Whether or not it holds, I don't know. That remains the same. We talked about this one over here. We weren't looking at it in real time because at that point, things were very, very muddied, very unclear, as they continue to be, right? What I'm saying is if we break outside of this triangle to the upside or downside, well, we got a little bit further clarity near term, right? What's medium term? Breaking the most important trend line in crypto, right? This near term clarity could be to the upside. It could be to the downside. Wait for the break. Wait for the break, right? July is notoriously, uber bullish, 75% average gain between 2013 and, by the way, 2017 at a higher gain, a higher month. So we weren't, diminishing returns not happening there. But in 2017 July, there was a greater return. Is that indicative of what's going to happen today? Absolutely not. That does not mean that because that happened in the past that that's going to happen this July. But the possibilities, it remains that it could. So let's watch out for it. I think we're going to see some volatility to the upside or the downside pretty soon. Just trying to make sure that we're all clear on what we're looking at and how we're doing it. But we got to set the tone over here for this particular live stream. We're going to dedicate it here, right, to everyone, to our neighbor. We're going to dedicate this actually to the love of neighbor. Listen to 1 minute of this song over here, which is going to set the mood for the rest of today's live stream.
So everybody is connected like karma. So disconnect yourself from the drama. Everybody's trying to heal like trauma. It's never been easy. Every day for everybody ain't breezy. And I hope you realize when you look into another person's eyes, today would be a very good day just to have a good day. Today would be a very good day just to have a good day. With a little more love and a little more laughter, a little more good vibes, less disaster. Today would be a very good day just to have a good day. And I say, hey, hey, put all my troubles to the side. And I say, hey, hey, thank God that we're alive. And I say, hey, hey, put all of my troubles to the side. And I say, hey, hey, thank God that we're alive. Today would be a very good day just to have a good day. Today would be a very good day just to have a good day. With a little more love and a little more laughter, a little more good vibes, less disaster. Today would be a very good day just to have a good day. All day, hey, hey, all day long, hey, hey, all day long, hey, hey,
And that's it right there. CTM. All day long. That's it right there. Greg, thanks for bringing that to us. What a beautiful way. Come on. Are you not going to treat everyone around you better today? Are you not going to have more understanding, more compassion, more apathy for what they're going through? That's being human. The struggle of being human. The human struggle. Right? So we're all in it together. CTM. That's not a Head Snack remix, but who is this? I got to see Michael Franti and Spearhead live once. What a beautiful, beautiful vibe they brought. That was years ago. Greg just bringing them back, All right, let's bring this out. Let's see what else we're looking at here today and keep this going. Let me move over to, Giles shared this yesterday. By the way, we have an FX session this morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. I'll include the link by email and Discord. If you're not part of the CTM training program, there's a link in the description below. Definitely want to join us. What we're looking at over here, Giles is bringing up this beautiful chart work of silver, and it's a game changer for myself. I'm going to show you why right now. You all know how I've been focused on silver from afar, how well I've been focused on silver from afar, I should say. And that's because we're in this massive uptrend ever since the Fed intervened back in March 2020, right? And then we've had a couple of opportunities. Well, the most recent opportunity we looked at was watching this consolidation take place for months. February, March, April, May, and it was over here that we broke out, right? And we lined this up really well, and we picked our spot, and we waited, and then we attacked here like true predator style. True predator style, you just don't run at the trade. You watch it, you stalk it, you look for the weakness, you wait for that weakness to be separated from the herd a little bit, and then you look to attack. And that's what we did over here. We talked about these two entries. We put out special videos, and we tried to push the trade as long as we can, right? And then we had to exit it over here. No big deal. Things don't always work out how you like. And I'm looking at this chart, and I'm seeing an uptrend that's consolidating sideways. That's the way that I look at it. And I'm like, I don't know when the next time to attack is. Remember, this is what I've been saying to you. I said definitely below this resistance. Look, I didn't realize that we broke above it and then retested it and are now resuming off. I mean, obviously you all know that I don't love it. I wouldn't have taken it, I should say, correct English. I wouldn't have taken it, but we said, watch this, as we consolidate between the resistance over here at 2630 and the support at 2570. We wound up since breaking above that resistance and confirming it, but I still don't like the trade. I'm wondering if the next entry would be in some type of trend line break, but Giles, brings this perspective. And he's like, why I'm looking at as an uptrend consolidating sideways, he brings out the prime trend line. Right? And you could see how clearly in play that prime trend line is. And that gives me an actionable pattern, right? That gives me, not only that, look what else he adds over here. Look, is it possible that around the time we're looking to exit Bitcoin, or some of you are looking to exit Bitcoin, right? That where I should say the cycle peak of Bitcoin, that silver might be getting ready to actually break out. We have to watch it. That's for sure. This brings uber clarity. I love it. You can see the prime trend line was drawn all the way down over here, CTM style closing over here. You can see the resistance, break out to support, tested once, twice, and 3 other times. Again, this trend line now has been tested a few times. If we break out to the upside, is that what Wall Street Bets is finally waiting for? I mean, I've been stacking silver since before Reddit was even on the interweb. So, how do you like them apples? Awesome, Giles. This was also brought up yesterday. And you remember the rational root? If you haven't seen the video with the rational root, I guess we have to make a special playlist for interviews or things like that. But this was a good one. And the rational root, he looks at the angle, the slope of the bull market, and he takes out the drawdown in between and just to keep the angle. And that's the perspective that he follows and looks at during the bull market. This is kind of done the opposite way. Someone's taken out, the upside volatility over here. And what they're saying is, look, Tesla jumped in with a $1.5 billion purchase. It wasn't just Tesla. Grayscale was making massive purchases back in when? January. But we also had MicroStrategy taking a $1 billion position, right? Of another $500 million position in Bitcoin. We had big, massive purchases taking place. He's saying if you go ahead and erase that, we're kind of just like, slightly up from where we were. Yeah, it's a different way to look at it. It's kind of like how the rational root does it, and whether or not that had anything to do with the increased volatility that we've been seeing, because we have been seeing an increase of volatility compared to the 2016 cycle, both to the upside, now to the downside, and definitely as far as we consolidate, right? Still less than the 2013 cycle. Was it because of public companies jumping in and buying Bitcoin? It could be. This is unraveling a lot quicker. The dominoes are falling a lot quicker than many of us imagined. We knew that this was going to be the cycle of institutional money. People look forward to the cycle when it becomes like the sovereign cycle or the central bank cycle, right? When is the ECB going to be putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet? Will that ever happen? And if that does happen, what would that look like? Do central banks put scarce assets such as gold on their balance sheets? Absolutely. Will there come a day when they're forced to do that with Bitcoin? I don't know. We don't. That would be the cherry. That would be the whipped cream. That would be the sprinkles. That would be a beautiful world, a fair and just monetary supply. The bullish case for Bitcoin is not dependent on central banks taking a position in Bitcoin, right? We do have countries such as El Salvador now making it legal tender, right? I was just making sure it was El Salvador. I mean, huge step, huge step. We have the bears, the biggest bear case, mining takes place in China, now actually addressed as all that hash rate has left China. 50% of the hash rate on the network has left China, and it's going to be distributed slowly throughout the world. Maybe a lot of it in the West, even in the US. That could be. Will institutions and institutional money, not some public company money, but the massive amount of money start coming in once they feel better about where the Bitcoin mining is taking place, whether that's a year from now or 2 years from now or 3 years from now, their time preference is a lot different than yours. It's a lot different than yours, right? So listen, not everyone's in a rush, and you don't need to be in a rush also. There's going to be a euphoric time coming up, when things are really moving, and a lot of, at that point, your time preference is going to be a lot different. You're going to have a lot higher of a time preference, obviously, because there's a euphoric blow off top about to come and an exit, and we'll be looking at that. But you always want to keep in mind the big picture of what exactly you're looking to accomplish. Carlos was asking, by the way, I love the video. I wish you would talk more about the CTM course because I would love really thinking of doing it, but I don't really do that on the live streams. I mention the course, I talk about the course, but I'm not trying to sell you the course or anyone. I think it's of enormous value to work more closely with myself, with the strategy of CTM, strategy and principles that I've outlined and put together, giving you a lot of people have had massive success. It's up to you whether or not you adopt these principles or you join the Discord and you start talking about moving average crossovers or whatever else you might. That's up to you. You get that, but I can't imagine a better opportunity. And of course, the price is obviously next to nothing. Don't let that fool you. Many people have taken courses that cost tens of thousands of dollars and have actually said, I've learned I had to stop those courses and just focus on yours and with CTM. That's the truth of it. That's what it is. I would love to see you there with us. And that's it. We got a good look at Bitcoin this morning. Silver gives me good perspective. I see the dollar is slightly bid, maybe into the trend line coming into it. But we're going to look at FX in just a little bit, 1 hour from now. So that's it. We'll keep this one short. I'll see you all then. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just play some honeymoon vocals and see if there's any other comments that we want to take a look at. But before I do that, I'm going to play a head snack. But before that, we only have 300 likes. I know it's the summer and we got, less people around, but all signal all day long. Signal all day long. George said a couple of things actually that I wanted to talk about. Let's talk about it. George was asking, do I ever look at the price of Bitcoin other than when I'm on the videos? I always know the price of Bitcoin. I always know the price of Bitcoin. So, even in the middle of the night, I kind of know the price of Bitcoin. If I get up because one of the kids are up, I have my phone always with me. I know the price of Bitcoin. And when I'm in the shower, I know the price of Bitcoin. I just always know the price of Bitcoin. And, I'm sure you do as well. But either which way, I like looking at charts. I'm with the charts all the time. It's just, it's what I do. The silent majority making their presence known. Lots of love. I love this over here. I make this. This is CTM all day long. And then Georgia was also wondering if we're having a rounding bottom, right? Or are we possibly seeing a rounding bottom taking place in Bitcoin? And yesterday we were looking at the divergence with the true trend that was taking place. Boom, boom, boom. Let me pull it up so I could talk about it. You know, what else? Let me get this off over here. We were talking about as the true trend was making lower highs, price was making higher highs, giving us the first indication of divergence. I was not looking at it in real time, but now in real time, you see that price is kind of rounding out, right? You could see that, it's not really lower lows because you didn't make a lower low over here. That was our base case ever since the day after it happened, and it might or might not stand. We could still take out a lower low over here intraday. I don't know if this holds or not. If we break above here to the outside, to the upside, there's actually a better chance of this holding, but it's not until we break the most important trend line in crypto that I would feel more comfortable saying, okay, the golden ratio held. This is the mid cycle lows now in place, and we know exactly what it is because it's not in place yet, and even then anything could happen, but the probability is much greater at that point of that actually being the low. But we are looking at the true trends right now so far giving us higher lows as price is kind of giving us lower lows. Is that a divergence? We'll see. This, just because the true trend is rolling up over here doesn't mean it can't roll over and roll over hard, which is how it works. If you look at the past of the bull market, you can see that price, rolls back, it consolidates, and then makes that move down. That's what you do. You sell resistance in downtrends. Near term, we're still in a downtrend on Bitcoin, right? We haven't yet broken that momentum. The bears, they lost a little bit of control once we broke them and reclaimed that yellow line. It's a bigger line of resistance and for quite a while. But really, if you look at it closer, and we have been looking at it closer, you are looking at the line of hope. And the line of hope is really, if that breaks, good chance we make another leg down. Then it's a question whether or not of the recent lows hold, or we go lower. So, everyone, have a beautiful day. Thank you for making mine. Let me play some head snack over here because it's Taco Tuesday. How could I not? Let's drop them.
Markets, analyzing the charts, hitting projected targets within the margin. Find the flow, sip the matcha, and wait for the waves to come in with lobsters. The kind-hearted Jordan Fosters, working smarter, not harder to move the markers. On his way to conquer, trading and investing, drinking the coffee while reflecting on the blessing. The markets are not crashing, the prices might be slashing just to pretend they're in fashion. Take a like button, comments, and smash it. Boom, boom, Jordan in the room, grab the bull by the horns and to the moon. Flow from the plateau, make the play. Boom, boom, it's a taco day.
It's a taco day. It's a taco day. All right, cool. So a couple more questions, So Christopher's asking, listen, Jordan, could you explain or do a video on BlockFi loans for a light leverage? My main question is around exit strategy. How do you pay off the loan and free up collateralized Bitcoin to sell quickly during a blow off top? A lot of people always worried about like that. You have much more time than you think during the blow off top anyway. It doesn't anyway. We did a training video on that, CTM training sessions. It's on the CTM recommended playlist. Once you jump inside Discord, it's one of the first pinned things you'll see. And we will continue, as time goes on, as I'm getting to that moment in time that we will have, if you're not part of the CTM program, you got to be dialed in. I mean, I know that everything we do here, in the public and for free is high quality and super useful and important, but that's why you should be part of the other community, in the inner community. Why am I not looking at the KS model more? Well, I did a full video on it. There's nothing else to say about it. I mean, I don't think it's correct. I've consulted it in case it is correct. Then we'll know, come January, the bull market's still going on. Well, then we have a model to revert to that would make a lot of sense, and we want to know more about it. But we have a video on it. It explains it in depth. There's nothing else to go back to or to look at it again unless it's proven correct. But I go with, until something's proven incorrect, don't try to call it top, don't try to call it bottom. So, that's not my base case at all. If it becomes my base case, then we have a model, and someone to lean into. I've said the same with Benjamin and his work. I don't think it's correct. If it is, then we have somewhere to look, right? If we see diminishing returns, okay, then I know to actually even, Ted actually has a model, that we could consult and is going to show what that looks like going further and for us to look at. And that's what we do. There's a difference between diminishing returns in a 4-year cycle than there is between lengthening cycles. Lengthening cycles and increasing returns, Ken's model, or lengthening cycles and diminishing returns, Ben's model. Those are all 3 different things. So, if we have our options, if need be, we want to make sure that we're on the right side of the trade. There it is right there. Everyone, have a beautiful day, and I'll see you all tomorrow.